Hey guys, I am here today with Josiah. He is my first born son. So he's second in birth order, but firstborn son. And so my thought was to kind of introduce you guys to all of my kids one at a time. So you get to kind of know them and their experience. Experience in our family. so, um, so Josiah volunteered to do his interview first because him and his wife Ricky are getting ready to leave tomorrow, so to go to Arkansas. So we thought we'd fit this in today. So I just have some questions that I'm going to ask him, and we'll see what happens. All right. So Josiah, what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
So I think that I'm pretty focused. I'd like to stay on task, and I also think though I can be goofy, especially when I'm not focused.
Yes.
And then I also just really like to learn. So a learner, I guess. I really like to learn new things.
I think those really do accurately describe you. Even as a kid, he was very focused, very intent, and yeah. So okay, what is your favorite movie?
So right now, my favorite movie is Hacksaw Ridge, which is it's based on a true story about Desmond Doss. It's played by Andrew Garfield, and I just really like the movie because he had very strong convictions and felt like he needed to live by those convictions, but at the same time, he also really cared about people, which is why he served in the military as a medic, was to help people. So even though he had this strong conviction that he shouldn't kill anyone, he still wanted to help other people. And so he, I don't know. I think it's a great example because I think sometimes we can let our convictions keep us from helping other people sometimes, but he really balanced both well. So it's a cool, very cool story.
Sounds good. It's a war movie, right?
It is. It's pretty graphic too. So
I'm never gonna watch it.
I know you're never gonna watch it.
Not gonna happen.
But I can tell you about it.
That's enough. That's good. Okay. Next question. If you could meet anyone from history, who would it be and why?
Well, right now I just got finished listening to a biography on William Wilberforce, the one by Eric Metaxas. And so right now it would be William Wilberforce because he was just an amazing person. He kind of was strong in his faith in early years of his life, but then kind of fell away for a while, ended up in Parliament, but was kind of like partier and just really living for himself. But then soon after he was in Parliament, that's when he had this radical encounter with God and really wanted to serve God with his life. And so to do that, he thought he had to leave Parliament. He thought there's no way you could serve God and be a member of Parliament. But some influential people told him, hey, you should stay here and let God use you here. And so that's what he did. And really for the rest of his life, it's just a testimony to him being very intentional and trying to use his where God had him as a member of Parliament, and a pretty influential member of Parliament, to enact all sorts of changes, the most famous being the abolition of the slave trade, which eventually led to the abolition of slavery. So, yeah, he's just an amazing figure. I definitely recommend that biography.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. I've seen The Amazing Grace, but I think that biography is like really long, right?
Yeah, it goes into a lot more detail.
Yeah, okay.
So, it's the same. I think they took the movie from the biography. I think, so.
Gotcha. Okay, what is your funniest memory of growing up? This is gonna be interesting.
There's a lot of funny memories to choose from.
Okay.
I was thinking about which ones I would want to share on the internet.
Gotcha.
And that limited the scope of funny memories down quite a bit.
Okay. So noted.
So one is, this isn't exactly growing up, but it is kind of growing up, because it was we had gone to college, and then my brother Rob, who's a year and a half younger than me, was at the same college I was at, and At the end of one school year, we were driving back from Virginia to Texas, and we both had cars, so we were each driving our car. And we got really, really bored because we were, pretty much by ourselves in our cars driving for over 20 hours. And so I had a bunch of big marshmallows in my car from a previous kind of event where we had been playing Chubby Bunny, but we had way too many marshmallows, so we didn't use all of them. So I had all these marshmallows in my car. So I told Rob, I said, hey, why don't I'll drive in front of you, and I'll throw up a marshmallow in the air, and then you drive behind me, and you see if you can catch the marshmallow. So we were like in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and there was no cars around us, but we were going like 75 miles an hour, and then I would throw up a marshmallow and then look in my rearview mirror and watch Rob try to swerve and catch the marshmallow. And we probably did that for like an hour. It was really, really fun. So.
Yeah, and the front of Rob's car had marshmallows all over it by the time you guys got home.
Yeah.
So I think I have a picture of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was memorable.
And I think Michaela copied your idea when she was driving home from Liberty for Christmas. They were doing it only to truck drivers, but they were at a complete stop. So there was some sort of wreck on the road, and she was throwing them to truck drivers and I think gummy bears. Yeah, gummy worms. Yeah. I think it was gummy worms. Yeah, and
that's a good
throwing
one.
them. Yeah, so yeah, she kind of modified it in a more safe way. Okay, so you guys know that we have adopted 6 kids. And so I was going to ask Josiah how our family's adoptions have changed you, good, bad, whatever.
So I think we adopted Johanna when I was about 10 or 11, I think, and then 3, and then when I was 13, adopted David, Sammy, and Carissa. So 3 at one time together. So. Those are the ones I remember the best because I was still living at home.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I really appreciated that you guys did before we adopted, even Johanna, was you said if we adopt, things about your life are going to change and you're going to have to make sacrifices and you may not be able to do all the things that your friends get to do. And so, and you guys said, are you sure you want to do this? And then we were like, yeah, sure, that's awesome. I mean, and as much as we could understand, we genuinely wanted to do it. But then I think it was actually really helpful that was the expectation, because then after we adopted both Johanna and then the other 3, that it was we just expected that we were going to have to help out a lot and we wouldn't get to do other stuff. And honestly, I think it probably helped us get outside of the normal teenage, the world revolves around me kind of, a little bit, just because we had to think about other people and helping take care of other people. So, I loved it. I think it was that helped me grow a lot, I think. So very thankful for that.
Well, and I will say too, I mean, they helped drive kids around when they got a little bit older, helped drive kids around and that sort of thing. But they also, and you talk about taking care of the younger kids, but they also help take care of us, because adopting 3 at one time was really tough, and they didn't know English, and it was just not that it was a bad experience, it was just a lot of work and just a lot of emotions and all that sort of stuff. So Samantha, who's about a year and a half older than Josiah, they would surprise us sometimes with they worked at Red Robin, and they would bring home cheesecake or different things, and Josiah would come in, he's like, you need to come and listen to a song that I have. I need you to listen to my song. And he would take us into the music room and play this really random song. While Samantha was in our room, putting the cheesecake out and all that sort of stuff. And then it all made sense when we went back in our room, but we're like, okay. But I remember when they both went to college at the same time. So they, when they left, thinking, oh my goodness, who's gonna even just be an emotional support, or even just to sit and laugh with them after they came home from work was an emotional help, really. And so we really missed them when they left. But and one thing I didn't ask you, which I was supposed to earlier, was about just your education, because I've told them that we've kind of done, everything from public school, homeschooling, co-ops, university model. So what was your education?
So I was in public school for kindergarten and first grade, and then homeschooled throughout the rest of schooling, I guess, before college. But towards the end, in high school, did co-ops and took some outside classes, and then dual credits at a local college and stuff like that. So, for me, I think it was super positive. I loved being homeschooled because we had other friends at our church and other places that were homeschooled. So we had friends outside of our family. We also had our siblings, and so having, Sam, who's a year and a half older, and Rob, who's a year and a half younger, basically, that helped a lot too, because they were pretty, close in age. And I just liked having a lot of extra time to do stuff, like get your schoolwork done, then you get to go do whatever you wanted to do. So I really appreciated that. And I think how you guys did it too, I think we felt pretty prepared. I felt really prepared for college stuff. When we went to college, it was very similar because I was already kind of used to working on my own and taking classes and then working on my own. We loved it.
Okay. And I will say, he was good in school, and so even though he was a summer birthday, and I know a lot of boys that have summer birthdays, they kind of hold him back, but for him, it was a little bit different, and he always was able to hang really well with school, and so we just put him and Samantha in the same grade, and all the way up, it just kind of worked out that way. We just kind of kept it that way, and so he graduated early when you were 16.
Yeah.
And then in the summer you turned 17, right? And then because he did a lot of dual credit, we kind of overdid the dual credit thing with you and Samantha just a little bit. But you went in to Liberty as what, second semester sophomore?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes. Yeah. Because I graduated in 3 years.
So he graduated when he was 19.
And then I turned 20.
And then you turned 20 in the summer. I'm bragging a little. So, because he really liked school. So, but then you also got to help teach at Liberty's English school for foreigners, right?
Their ESL school for a year after I graduated.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. How did you meet your wife, Ricky?
So, I met her the first week of college. We were in the same freshman orientation class. And at first, I didn't have the greatest first impression of her. It was just really me being judgmental. It was nothing else. But then, we started hanging out soon after that. Just kind of our friend groups developed, and we were in the same friend group. And almost immediately after that, started to really, really like her. And yeah.
Can I tell a story about the prayer request thing?
Sure. I don't know what story you're going to tell.
So he called home, during that first semester and said, there's this girl, she's really sweet, and all that. And so they were in this group where they would pray for people and just for the world. And so he's like, Mom, she had to miss because she went and donated blood, because she actually texted me while she's donating blood and said, hey, could you just send over the prayer request so I can keep praying as I'm donating blood? He's like, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so we're like, wow, that is pretty cool. So,
wow.
Yeah, and she's super sweet. Love her. So she's awesome. Okay, and last question. What is your favorite activity to do together with Ricky?
Recently, we really like to do music stuff together. So she majored in music in college, and she's a very talented musician. I appreciate music and like to be involved in it, so she's been helping me. But we just like playing songs together and singing together and stuff like that, so we do that for fun.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will have another Wegner kid sometime soon.